Hey y'all, I'm Jen.
I'm Em.
Welcome to my haunted era.
Let's talk about some spooky shit.
Let's talk about spooky shit.
So each episode we talk about a ghost story or an urban legend or a conspiracy theory.
Whatever
or
you
just
want.
our day in life.
Aliens, UFOs, yeah. Little Taylor Swift sprinkled in.
Absolutely. And
A
just
little
like shenanigans.
Literally shenanigans. Well, how are you? How has your day been? How is therapy? Is
I'm
therapy
good.
Wednesday?
Therapy is every other Wednesday. And yeah, today got kind of heavy. We talked about like family roles and I was like, oh,
That's hard.
childhood.
Childhood.
And yeah. So I feel fine.
You feel good?
I feel fine. Yeah.
Just fine. Yeah. That's
Just,
what you can best you can expect.
Yeah, 100%. So we're making it work. Therapy's great, everybody. Highly recommend.
Therapy's great. We love therapy. Shout out to my therapist if you're listening.
I know,
'cause she
mine
listens.
too. I don't know if mine does. I didn't ask her. But yeah, no, the day was good. Work was good. Therapy was good.
Yeah.
I'm feeling pretty chill. What about you?
Work's good. I worked 4 shifts this weekend and wanted to die every day. I worked with my supervisor on Sunday, Monday, and we only had one patient. And so I had the patient and she was doing office-y stuff. And every 30 minutes, maybe more than that, I would look over her and be like, can I go home now?
Can I be released?
May I go home now?
Wait, oh my God, I forgot to tell you. I'm so sorry. Can I interrupt?
Please.
Okay, this is about therapy. And I remember it happened. I was like, oh my God, I have something to talk about on the podcast. Okay, so therapy starts and it's virtual. And my therapist looks over to the side and she's like, excuse me for just 1 second. My TV turned on and it's really, really loud. She goes, so I'll be right back. She goes, probably a ghost. And I was like, what? So she goes and then she comes back and I was like, so do you have a ghost? And she's like, nah, it's my husband. I'm like, ah, fuck. I was like, man, that would have been real cool.
Does this happen often? Is this like a common occurrence? Tell me about this ghost. Fuck therapy. We got to talk about your ghost.
I know. I was like, wait, what? Send me an email so I can read about it.
I know, right? Send us a fucking email. I know people keep telling me their stories casually in passing, and I'm like, type it in an email and send it to me. I want to talk about it to everybody.
Yeah.
So here's our call to action. If you're listening to this and you have a spooky story, just type it up and send it our way in my haunted era pod at gmail.com.
Yeah, we'd love to read it.
We'd
love our listeners to hear it.
We would love everyone to hear it. We could change your name, make it totally anonymous.
Yeah, we give you a cool name.
Yeah, we give you a cool name. If you want to pick your own name, you could pick your own name.
100%.
I'm fine with that. 1000%. But yeah, my day's good. Today's my mom's birthday, so we just went over to her house and celebrated. We went to Chili's. I got an espresso martini.
Oh my God,
did you get it? Queso.
I was going to ask, did you get a triple dipper?
Me and Kevin split a triple dipper. It was everything. I love Chili's.
Me too.
Chili's is my ideal date spot, if we're being honest.
I love their monthly margaritas that are like $6 or something.
Are they what's the most recent one you've had? Do you remember the flavor?
I went in February. It was like a strawberry.
Oh, okay.
Like, yeah, it's always themed for the month.
Yeah. I wonder what this
cute.
one says. I bet it's like St. Patrick's Day themes. I didn't look. I'm just like, do they have an espresso martini? Yes, I'm ordering that. I don't look at anything else. I just see if they have espresso martini, and if they don't, I probably won't get a drink.
Really?
That's the era I'm in. I'm espresso martini era.
I love it. I'm always in a margarita era. So
Kevin is too. Kevin,
I know.
We'll find a margarita at any place. On Saturdays, because I usually work Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights, give or take. So usually Saturday mornings, we haven't gone in a bit, but we usually go to Fuzzy's because they're open at 7 a.m. and you can get a margarita at 7 a.m. So we go and get margaritas right after my shift and we get like breakfast tacos or something. But yeah, it's one of my favorite traditions we have. It started on our 3rd or 4th date. We went to go eat breakfast at some place in Denton and there was a Fuzzy's right next to it and the wait for breakfast was long and they had an outdoor bar at the Fuzzy's. It was just across the parking lot. And he was like, do you want to go get a margarita? And I was like, sure. And we went and chugged a margarita real quick. Our table was ready. I don't remember what I ate. I drank it so fast. I was tipsy as hell during that breakfast. But ever since then, that's been our tradition.
Did you wear your scrubs? Do you wear your scrubs when you get a margarita at 7 a.m.?
Yeah, I don't change clothes yet because I want to change into my pajamas. So I just come in and wake his ass up and then he gets dressed and we go. So
I feel like it's acceptable if you get a margarita at an airport or if you're wearing scrubs early in the morning, people are like, got it.
I see you. Yeah.
Hopefully they know that you're coming off a shift and not going on a shift.
Yeah. If anyone asks, I definitely will clear that up for them. I am not about to go to work.
I just got off, I
Promise.
swear.
Yeah.
I'm not going to go take care of people.
I will say, I will give the disclaimer that if I had a particularly gross shift, I will change my clothes. I don't want people judging me for not changing out of my scrubs. But usually I don't have a lot of patient contact, typically.
Yeah.
So
Also, don't be judging. If you're judging,
don't be
just
judging.
chill out.
Judging's not fun.
No.
Well, today we're going international.
Oh my God, we didn't even know. We didn't even know.
We never plan it. Like the time
No.
both of our stories were in Wyoming.
Oh yeah, it was wild too. We had no idea.
That was wild too.
Oh, maybe we should plan it.
Maybe we should.
It's okay.
This is more fun.
It's okay.
And this is more fun until the day we show up with the same story.
But then it'll be even more fun.
It'd be more fun. Then we can bounce off of each other.
And
I know it's going to happen
by that
one
time,
day.
we'll have emails from people that we can share so that the episode will have some substance. You know what I mean?
Yeah. We can add some girth to it. Girth. Yeah. So where's your story today?
My story's in Ireland. Did that sound bad?
That was good.
I think that's all I got.
That was great. Mine's in Scotland, and I'm not going to try and do an accent because
No.
I can't do accents.
No.
And Scottish is hard.
Scottish is hard.
Yeah. I got on TikTok the other day at like 5 a.m. when it was my last 30 minutes of my shift, and I was dying. So I was on TikTok trying to stay awake, and there was this live of this Scottish man walking around. He was on a hike, and he's not shouting, but he was talking loud because it was windy and stuff. And so I was like, I have never loved anything more. I want Scottish man to shout at me at 5:30 in the morning all the time. And I put that in the comment. I said something like, I wasn't expecting to have a Scottish man yelling at me at 5 a.m., but I'm here for it. And then some other lady in the comments was like, if you don't like it, you don't have to be here. And I was like, no. I said, I'm here for it. I love the Scots. I love Scottish people. I am fucking here for it. I'm about to come and give you all of my money in like 3 weeks.
So,
I'm so here for it.
I wonder if Scotland will be the same. So Stephen and I went to Ireland with my parents last year, and nicest people
Really?
people who like welcome tourists, and they were kind and helpful. And I was like, I love it here. You know, it's like that very classical, like, could I move here? You know?
Can I move here?
But and the year before we had gone to France, and we did not have the same. We didn't have a bad experience, but it wasn't the same welcoming to tourists as Ireland was. So I'm wondering if Scotland will be like that for you guys.
I wonder that too. I fear that with the state of the world, they're going to hear our voices, and I hope they don't automatically assume that I voted for that fucktard.
No,
the Velveeta Voldemort, because I did not vote for that shit.
Oh my God.
So I worry now that relations are different, how we'll be received. But I hope it's not bad, because I didn't vote for that. Please don't put me in that.
I swear, sure, I didn't. I have our finance director. She is going to Mexico for in a couple of months, and she bought a shirt that says something about like it'll always be the Gulf of Mexico to me, or like something like that. And she was like, "Yeah, I have to let them know that I'm cool. I'm going to the country." And I'm like, "Okay, I get it."
When I was in Mexico a couple weeks ago, I wore my Hair Swallows hat.
I love that hat, the camel one.
I know. I was obsessed with that hat. And then I got a hat made on Etsy that just says FDT, like fuck Donald Trump, because I wanted people to know what fucking side I'm on. I'm like, our country is being very aggressive towards this country, and I do not share those same feelings or values. So
I know.
Please know. I know there's a sweatshirt on TikTok I've seen that's been in my cart for months now. I need to buy it. Probably should buy it for this trip. And it says, "Don't look at me, I voted for her." And the her is a different color, but it's an embroidered sweatshirt, and I desperately want it. So I might order it. I hope it gets here in time.
Nice.
But we'll see.
Yeah. We were asked in Paris, they always ask like, "Where are you from?" And then I go, "America." And I like went down, and he was like, "Oh, like, we're in America." And I further, "Texas." And he was like, "Why do you say it like that?" And I was like, "No,
we get a bad rap.
Like, it's just different." And he was like, "No, that's great." And he was like, "My mom loved the show Dallas." Of course, he's saying this in a French accent. And I was like, "Oh, never seen it."
Never seen it. I live in Dallas, but
I was like, "Yeah, I live there, but I've never seen that show." He's like, "You don't have a horse?" I go, "No, man."
And I live in the city. What are you talking about?
But that's like the perception of Texas.
That is the perception.
And like,
Yeehaw,
yeah, I get it.
Cowboys,
But I just was like, oh, no.
tumbleweed. Yeah, I know. That's probably how I'll respond when I'm there. I'll probably be like, "Hey, you probably know I'm from America.
I'm from America.
You're going to hate where I say I'm really from. We're really going to hate that." I saw this TikTok. I don't know if it was a British person or somebody, and they were like, "Why is it when you ask Americans where they're from, they always say the city and the state?" And I'm like, have you been to our country? It's fucking huge. I don't know that you know where Dallas is. I don't know that you know that. I'm not assuming that you know the geography of the United States.
Yeah, it's
Like,
so big. And like, yeah, I don't. And that's why I just started saying America. And they wanted to know, like, where? And I was like, why do you need to know?
Why do you need
like,
to know this?
Like, please don't.
What data are you getting from this?
Yeah, I don't know. But it's
just to judge me harder? Because I'm
just,
judging myself.
I judge myself every day. But it is hard to think about. Like, we drove around the entire entire island of Ireland, you know, and I was like, it took me 8 hours to get to my college that was in the same state that I lived in. So
right? I know. That's why I'm like, when I
Jesus.
see TikToks like that or people say stuff like that, I'm like, it would take me 13 hours to get to the other side of Texas, like to the U.S.-Mexico border. I remember in high school, we drove from here in North Texas down to South Padre Island.
Yeah.
That was a 13-hour drive.
Yeah.
That took the whole day. So, yeah, when I say Dallas, Texas, I'm sorry. I'm just trying to help you pinpoint it a little better.
Yeah.
That's it.
I get
Don't
it.
get mad.
I get it.
Don't get mad at me. Feel free to judge, but I'm judging myself.
I'm sorry.
I'm sorry. I am who I am, but here we are. All right. Should we get into it?
Yeah, let's do it. I can't remember who's going. Are you going first?
I think I'm going first. Yeah, you went first last time.
Okay. All right. Let's go. Let's hear about some Scots.
Oh my gosh. And the place we're talking about, me and Kevin are going to do a tour of this place while we're there. So I'll do an update. Also, I figured out what castle we're staying at that's haunted.
Yes.
It's called Tulloch Castle. And I'm sure you say it way more Scottish. Like,
Tulloch.
I'm not even going to do it. Tulloch.
I can't do it.
I can't do it. But that place is super haunted. And I have that planned for a future episode when I can share my experience and stuff. So also, I told Kevin, a girl shows up at the end of your bed. And I'm like,
talk to her.
Kevin, what?
Talk to her.
Fuck yeah. But I told Kevin that and he was like, the fuck, we aren't staying there. And I was like, baby, you booked it. You booked it.
I need to write down. I'm going to write down. I need to tell you the story of my dad. And he was visited by a ghost in his bed. When he was like,
tell me.
No, it's
Let's
long.
Go.
It's long.
Okay. Do you want to do it at the end?
Yeah.
Okay. Because you teased it and now we must know.
I know. So you have to wait till the end of the episode now.
Okay. All right. So my story is about the Edinburgh Vaults.
Ooh, I want to go to Edinburgh so bad.
I know. So we're going to spend 2 days there.
Okay,
2-ish days. So I'm really excited, but we're going to hit this place up. Beneath the historic streets of Edinburgh lies one of Scotland's most infamous underground locations, the Edinburgh Vaults. Also known as the Southbridge Vaults, this labyrinth of tunnels and chambers has a dark history filled with crime, disease, and ghostly activity. Today they are regarded as one of the most haunted places in the world. Like every haunted place.
I think mine says it's one of the most haunted places.
I'm telling you. Y'all, we need to have a convention and everyone needs to vote and we need to define the actual haunted places in the world. We need to evaluate everyone that makes that claim, put it to a vote.
Do like a top 10.
A top 10. And then you can claim that. But you can't just say that. But I'll let you know when I go there how haunted it is. So yeah, so it's regarded as one of the most haunted places in the world with countless reports of eerie encounters, unexplained sounds, and chilling apparitions. So in the late 18th century, Edinburgh experienced significant urban expansion leading to the construction of Southbridge in 1788. Edinburgh is situated on 7 significant hills, the most of which are currently hidden by 5 bridges that cross the city. Before the bridges were constructed, it was a lengthy, frequently muddy walk to get around Edinburgh. In the late 1800s, 2 bridges were built to facilitate the growing city, Northbridge and Southbridge. The Southbridge, built to span the Cowgate Gorge between High Street and the growing University of Edinburgh on the south side, was first proposed in 1775, although work did not begin until August 1785. So this bridge has been around as long as our country.
That's what's wild to me. When you go over there, I'm like, this shit is so old. And
It's
we
so fucking
get
old.
rid of everything that's
I know.
has any history.
I know.
But also, nothing we make here lasts.
Nothing we
you
make here
know?
lasts. They didn't build shit like they did in 1775.
Oh,
You know what I mean?
oh my God, it's going to be so beautiful.
So the bridge consisted of 19 stone arches spanning approximately 1,000 feet over the Cowgate area, though only one arch is visible today, which is called the Cowgate Arch.
Okay.
The remaining 18 arches were enclosed behind tenement buildings built to allow the area to serve as a commercial district. The bridge's subterranean arches were then given additional stories to enable for industrial use. There are around 120 rooms or vaults beneath the surface of the South Bridge, with sizes varying from 2 to 40 meters squared. I don't know that communist measurement, but what is
I don't.
2 meters? Let me change it to feet.
2
meters to feet.
Jimmy Carter, God rest his soul, he was trying to get America to switch to the metric system.
You know what? I don't know why he didn't. It would have been easier on everybody.
Because, yeah.
So it's 6 to 131 feet.
6
to
to 131?
31
That's
squared.
a huge range.
That is a wild range. It's like a tiny closet to a big-ass fucking room.
Dang, okay.
Yeah. So these vaults formed what is now known as the Edinburgh Vaults. The original purpose of the vaults was practical. They were intended to serve as workspaces for tradesmen, including cobblers, blacksmiths, and merchants. Additionally, they provided storage areas for businesses operating near Southbridge and housed taverns and drinking establishments for local workers and travelers. However, due to poor construction, the vaults quickly became uninhabitable. Construction of the bridge had been rushed, and the surface was never sealed against water. The porous sandstone structure allowed water to seep into the chambers, creating damp and unsanitary conditions.
Okay.
Yeah. The vaults...
I thought it was, I went meltdown mode and I was like, oh my God, it flooded and everybody inside died.
My next sentence was the vaults soon began to flood, but there's no reports that it flooded one day and drowned a bunch of people, but they did begin to flood. To what extent, I don't know.
Oh my God.
Yeah. So within a few decades, businesses abandoned the vaults, leaving them vulnerable to a much darker fate. Following their abandonment by legal businesses, the vaults became a refuge for Edinburgh's poorest residents. Conditions were horrendous, with families living in cramped, damp spaces without proper ventilation or sanitation. With no light and little fresh air, disease spread quickly among those forced to live underground. Typhoid, cholera, and tuberculosis were rampant, making survival a daily struggle for those who called the vaults home. This underground world soon attracted criminal elements, transforming the vaults into a hub for illicit activities. Brothels, often operated by ruthless madams, exploited desperate women, many of whom had little choice but to work in squalid conditions. Illegal gambling and drinking dens became frequented by the city's criminals, leading to fights, theft, and even murders. The lack of police intervention allowed violent crime to flourish, and many unfortunate souls simply vanished within the depths of the vaults, their fates unknown.
Oh my God.
Yeah. It was a bad place. The vaults were also rumored to be a hiding place for body snatchers. During the 1820s, medical schools in Edinburgh paid high prices for fresh cadavers, leading some to believe that infamous criminals like Burke and Hare used the vaults to store their victims before selling the bodies to Dr. Robert Knox for medical dissection. Yeah.
When you said body snatchers, I'm like, what the fuck is that?
Yeah, no.
Gross.
It's nasty. Some accounts suggest that muffled screams and hurried footsteps were heard in the darkness, and the smell of decay occasionally wafted through certain chambers. By the mid-19th century, the situation had deteriorated so badly that the vaults were filled with rubble in order to protect the businesses that were still operating above street level and to deter squatters from making the vaults home. Thus, the vaults were sealed off and largely forgotten, remaining hidden beneath Edinburgh's streets for more than a century. However, in the 1980s, former rugby player and historian Norrie Rowan rediscovered the vaults. While excavating tunnels beneath his property, Rowan stumbled upon a passage leading into the long-forgotten underground chambers. The discovery reignited interest in the vaults, leading to archaeological and historical investigations. During excavation efforts, researchers uncovered evidence of the vault's grim past, including rusted tools and remnants of workshops, fragments of shoes and pottery, and even human bones, suggesting the possibility of undiscovered crimes.
Sure.
Yeah, I mean, where there's bones. I mean, a lot of those things didn't really make me think a crime happened. It was just like, oh yeah, cobblers used it, other tradesmen used it, so yeah, I'd think there'd be tools. But the human bones thing, that could go either way. There was a lot of disease. People probably died down there.
Yeah.
But with how bad the conditions were and how dangerous the activities that were happening down there, I'm sure there were lots of murder and other crimes
and it doesn't
happening.
matter if they've sealed them off. People will find a way.
People find a fucking way. Since the rediscovery, the vaults have become one of Edinburgh's most infamous tourist attractions. Yep, we're going. They are a focal point of ghost tours, drawing visitors eager to experience their haunted history firsthand. Many guests and paranormal investigators have reported eerie experiences, contributing to the location's reputation as one of the most paranormally active places in the world. We'll see. So,
I'll be the judge of that.
yeah. Some of the hauntings there, one of the most infamous spirits within the vaults is known as Mr. Boots. He is described as a tall, shadowy figure wearing a dirty blue coat and heavy, worn-out leather boots, hence the name Mr. Boots.
Yep.
And he's often heard pacing in the darkness. He is said to stalk the narrow passages beneath the Royal Mile in Edinburgh's Old Town. Paranormal reports associated with Mr. Boots include echoing footsteps following visitors through the chambers, disembodied whispers that are often perceived as threatening, and sudden door slamming despite no air currents or movement from tour groups. Some visitors have heard him growl the words, "Get out." Yeah.
Oh God, I hope Kevin gets spooked so bad in there.
I'm going to call on Mr. Boots
Yeah,
to scare the living fuck out of Kevin.
Because I feel like he'd be like, oh, sweet, this is awesome. Kevin would shit himself.
It's likely that I will not experience a goddamn thing. And Kevin will absolutely experience something. That is just the nature of the world because I want it too bad. And they know that. I know they can feel the consent off of me. You know, they can smell it.
She won't be fun.
Like, that's not that fun. She's not going to get scared. Witnesses have described feeling an overwhelming sense of dread as if they were being watched or followed. Several visitors have reported marks or scratches on their skin after the tour and have attributed it to the watcher. Some psychics believe that Mr. Boots may have been a violent criminal, possibly a murderer, who used the vaults to dispose of his victims, and his presence is often accompanied by an overwhelming sense of fear and nausea.
Oh, God, I hate being nauseous.
I'd hate
be
that shit.
Pissed.
I hate that shit.
Scare me all you want. If you make me want to throw up, I'll hate you forever.
I'll literally hate you. I will throw up in your closest direction.
I'd rather shit my pants in public than throw up in private.
Honestly,
truly, I hate
I
throwing
feel the
up.
same way. When I'm nauseated, the world stops. I cannot function.
Even then, it's like, no, I immediately take Pepto or Tums or like or was it not Nofran?
Zofran. Yeah.
I'm like, absolutely not. You will not vomit.
You
bitch.
will not vomit.
You will
I know.
not.
You will not. I love Zofran with my whole heart.
It's like, I'm just a girl. I just need some Zofran.
Yeah. Zofran, feel free to sponsor us. Big Pharma, we got you. We have attracted the, like I said last week, what was it? Clorox wipes. What was last week? I don't remember either.
And now Zofran.
And now
I know
Zofran.
we said Clorox wipes. I can't remember what the other one was.
I don't remember what the other one was,
Swiffer?
but it was...
Nah.
No, it wasn't Swiffer. If it was something equally unexciting.
Hey, I love getting cleaning products. It's the best.
Honestly, I'm going to take back what I said unexciting. You send me some packages of Clorox wipes, I will promote that shit till the day I die.
I need to promote that shit.
Thrilled.
Okay, I'm so sorry to interrupt.
Don't be sorry. So, we have another spirit, Jack, a playful child spirit. Unlike Mr. Boots, Jack is described as a mischievous, but seemingly harmless entity. Thought to be around 5 or 6 years old, Jack is known for interacting with visitors by tugging on their clothes or holding their hands.
Okay, if I know something about Kevin, he's going to get haunted by the child.
That child's going to come to him.
He'll be chosen by the child.
He will be chosen by Jack, for sure.
They share that innocent mind.
They do. They really do. Many guests have reported seeing small objects such as stones or balls roll across the chamber floors without explanation. Others have captured recordings of childlike laughter through EVPs. While Jack appears to be a friendly spirit, some paranormal investigators theorize that child spirits can sometimes be lures used by dark entities, which I totally agree with.
I do
Anytime
too.
I hear child spirit, I'm like,
There's
I don't
something
know.
more sinister.
Yeah, there could be something way more sinister going on. Could be innocent, but yeah, it always seems much darker to me.
I mean, have you seen The Conjuring?
Exactly. But he is not the only child in the vaults.
Holy shit.
Another spirit to haunt the vaults is that of Annie, a young girl abandoned by her parents. Visitors and tour guides have heard the sound of a young girl laughing or crying. Some have seen the apparition of a child in the shadows. They say she is looking for her missing doll. Yeah, which is sad.
Oh my God, take one of your dolls.
Oh my God, what if I bring a doll? Okay, I might do that. Caroline has 1,000 she doesn't need.
No, one of your haunted ones.
Oh, the haunted doll, yeah. They can hang out together.
So I know, and you can zoom in maybe later, but one of your dolls that you introduced, I can't remember if it's Jennifer or the other one. I can see her reflection in the mirror, and I am so fucking scared that one day she's gonna just like turn and face the mirror, like
this one?
while you're talking. Well, I can't. Your head's the one. Wait,
It's
she's
both of them.
Yeah. Okay. So I see the one with the brown hair. And I just like, yeah, see, but one day I just know they are going to turn on their own, and I'm going to be like, Jennifer, you should get out of that room.
Can you see them now?
Yep.
Now they're
There's
looking
like,
at you.
it's like the twins in The Shining.
I'm going to scoot them over so you can always see them.
Oh my God. Listeners, if you're only listening, you should tune in to the video and see her dolls in the mirror.
Wish you could zoom in. I wish you could zoom in. There they are.
Hi, friends. Come play with us.
Come play with us.
Oh, thank
Yeah,
you.
they're just looking creepily now. There are also frequent accounts of one child chasing a rolling hoop with a stick while another pulls a 10-toy cart from room to room. Yep. One of the most commonly reported sounds is the sound of children laughing. One night, while working near the entrance, a man who repairs the vaults down there... Why did I write that like that? A man who repairs the vaults down there. One night, a man who repairs the vaults, working down there, heard children laughing. He thought it was strange since it was 3:10 a.m. and when he went out to investigate, the street was deserted.
That's 3 a.m. Yeah, that's the time.
That's the witching hour. Another chilling presence within the vaults is a spectral woman believed to have been accused of witchcraft. This is my kind of bitch. This is my...
Scotland is adding something to like honor the women who were killed because they were like condemned to witchery or whatever the hell. I can't remember what it's called, but it's something big. I'll have to look it up.
Yeah. Let me know what it's called.
Yeah.
So reports connected to this entity include whispered incantations in an unidentifiable language, a sudden drop in temperature when entering her chamber, and the sensation of being suffocated or oppressed as though an unseen force is pressing down on visitors. Yeah.
And you're underground.
Great. Yeah.
God. Okay, it's I don't know how to say it. A tartan? It can be worn by anyone, but they're making one now that's to honor like the witches of Scotland.
Because I think the tartans are associated with certain clans.
Yeah, so they're making
Scotland.
Oh,
I love that.
Me too.
That's so cool. Many believe she harbors resentment towards those who enter her space, with some guests reporting scratches appearing on their skin after standing in her chamber for too long.
I get it.
I'm gonna test it.
I would scratch. I need my space.
Yeah.
I get it. Girl, you do you. Scratch up them bitches.
Beyond specific spirits, visitors and paranormal investigators regularly report various eerie occurrences. Disembodied voices and whispers, often sounding like full conversations, are frequently heard in empty rooms. Sudden temperature drops, even during warm weather, have been noted. Many visitors have reported the feeling of unseen hands grabbing or pushing them. Poltergeist activity, such as stones being thrown or objects moving on their own, has also been documented. Shadows have been seen darting between rooms, and some guests have described hearing cries of distress echoing through the tunnels. The infamous caretaker's room is sometimes the site of terrible wailing, crying, or the moaning of children.
Yeah.
Numerous paranormal research teams have investigated the Edinburgh Vaults, including Ghost Adventures and Most Haunted. I think that's like a UK paranormal show.
Yeah, okay.
I watched some of it for a different story I was researching, and boy, it was like early 2000s cheesy.
Oh, I love that.
It was amazing.
I missed that.
Yeah.
Give me
it was
the
like
2000s.
So these investigations have compelling evidence, including EVP recordings capturing disembodied voices, sudden fluctuations in EMF readings, footage of unexplained shadow figures appearing on camera, and witness testimonies both from skeptics and believers who experience intense fear or nausea during tours. Some investigators have reported being physically touched, scratched, or shoved while exploring the vaults, further supporting claims of strong paranormal activity. So, the Edinburgh Vaults remains one of Scotland's most paranormally active locations, attracting ghost hunters, skeptics, and thrill seekers alike. Their dark history, coupled with chilling reports of ghostly encounters, makes them one of the most mysterious and terrifying places in the world. Whether viewed as a historical landmark or a paranormal hotspot, the vaults continue to captivate and haunt those who dare to explore them. As investigations and research continue, new discoveries may yet uncover further secrets buried within the darkness of the Edinburgh Vaults. And my story was kind of short, so I found 3 encounters on Reddit to read that people experienced when they were touring. So, if I will. This one is entitled My Encounter with Mr. Boots by a user named Vertigo Saint. So, I'm just going to read it like they wrote it.
I hope they type it funny.
Yeah. Okay, this will be a long post, but I hope people will stick with it and give me their honest feedback. I've been considering posting to the subreddit for a while now, but I'm really rubbish at using Reddit. I want to tell people about my encounter with a somewhat notorious ghost and how to this day I can't explain what happened to me. Back in 2019, I attended the Edinburgh Film Festival, and it was my first time visiting the city. I had an amazing time, and one night I decided to take some time off watching films to do some tourist-like activities. In the hostel where I was staying, I saw a leaflet for the Edinburgh Vaults tours, which I thought would be fascinating as I'm a serious history buff. If you don't know what the Edinburgh Vaults are, they are a series of chambers formed in the 19 arches of the South Bridge in Edinburgh, Scotland, which were used to house a number of different businesses until they became a shelter for the homeless. The tour was a ghost tour of the seedy part of Old Town in Edinburgh, and despite having some slightly paranormal experiences in the past, I felt pretty confident that I could handle going on my own. The first part of the tour took place above ground, and to be honest, it wasn't particularly great as it was the middle of June, and despite being around 6 to 7 p.m., it was sunny and bright, which didn't really create the right atmosphere. The tour guide led us to the entrance of the vaults, which we entered through a normal building and down a flight of stairs. Before we went into the vaults, she told us to make sure our shoelaces are tied. I double-tied my laces as I didn't want to trip up as the floor was very uneven.
Okay, noted.
All right? Yeah, I will double-tie my shoes. This was where the tour really started to get interesting. The guide told us about the history of the place and the ghosts that apparently reside there. One is Mr. Boots, who is an evil spirit who can be heard stomping around in boots. The other is a small boy that attaches itself to women he considers to be a motherly figure, and he likes to grab their hand and is known to untie shoelaces. Okay, so there's the shoelace thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. The unnamed boy is apparently scared of Mr. Boots. As a tour group, we walk from room to room as the tour guide recounts different stories of ghostly encounters. We enter one room where there used to be a fireplace, which the guide is in front of. In the archway, there's a couple, and I'm stood next to them facing the guide and the couple. I decide to take a photo of the guide and the couple when suddenly behind the couple, I see this man. I've never seen a face so full of so much hate and evil in all my life. I can't even find the words to describe how menacing they looked. Their faces looked twisted with hate. They looked human, a tall figure wearing a long black coat or cloak, wearing a top hat. They had pale white skin. The figure wasn't transparent, but solid. The moment I saw him, the entire left side of my body went numb and cold. And I mean cold, as if that side of my body had frozen. I felt something yank at my left hand, and I pulled my eyes away from the figure in the archway to look down at the left-hand side of my body. There's nothing next to me, no one pulling on my hand, and when I go to look up, Mr. Boots is gone. Thank God. The guide starts to move everyone to the next room, and I seriously don't want to walk through the archway, but I know I can't stay in the small room any longer. I go to move when I look down at my left shoe to see the shoelace is undone. Only it's not just undone. The shoelace looks like it's been wrapped around someone's finger and they've piled it on top of my shoe. I can't help but gasp out loud and call the guide over. She looks at it baffled and says she's never seen that happen to anyone before. I don't know why, but I was too scared to tell her about seeing Mr. Boots because I felt like I couldn't tell her, like I would somehow get into trouble. I felt like I was suddenly back to being a little kid. I wasn't the only person in the tour group to have a paranormal experience. There was this big bodybuilder type man who clearly thought the whole tour was just nonsense. He was stood in the corner of this room next to a wall just minding his own business when suddenly he jumped and looked behind him. Apparently, he heard someone clap in his ear, but there wasn't anyone behind him and no one in the group had clapped.
Oh my gosh.
I'm nearly at the end of the story, so thank you for sticking with me so far. The last bit is what happened to me back at the hostel when I returned after the tour. I had been sharing a room with a few other girls, and I'm retelling my experience, minus seeing Mr. Boots because I thought no one would believe me. The girls thought the tour sounded really interesting, and we chatted for a bit about Scotland in general before I decided to go to sleep. As I was lying in my bunk, which was on the bottom, I was suddenly overcome by that feeling of being frozen and paralyzed again, like I had experienced back in the vault. My eyes were half open, and I could see the two girls still talking on a bed. I remember wanting to call out to them, but I couldn't. I don't know how long I was stuck like this, but eventually I found that I could open my eyes fully and I could move again. I didn't sleep for the rest of the night. If people are interested in some context, I have always had strange experiences on the left-hand side of my body. What I mean by this is that whenever anything paranormal happens, I feel a shiver go down the entire left-hand side of my body. You know that feeling you get when someone walks over your grave? I don't know that feeling. I've never experienced that.
I am not in a grave.
Can't relate. But
I am alive.
Yeah. Well, that's what I feel. When I was 3, I was involved in a terrible accident where my dress caught on fire and I was badly burnt. Part of my body most affected, the left part. So I guess they have some nerve damage over there.
Oh my gosh, the nurse in you.
Sounds like some nerve damage happened. But also, I feel like that definitely could be attributed, like why he would feel that more on that
Yeah.
side. Like if that side is already more sensitive,
Mm-hmm. And if
that
that
would make
side
so
was
much
like
sense.
closer to the other side, then you know what I mean?
Yeah, it's interesting. So that was crazy.
But I don't know the sensation of someone walking over my grave.
I can't relate
I
to
don't know what
that,
they
to be
mean by
honest.
that.
Yeah, I don't know what they mean, but one day we will, I guess. So this
I'm
one's
being
from
cremated, girl.
That's true. I don't want to be in a grave. I want to go to the body farm in
Oh,
University of Tennessee.
I think you mentioned that, maybe?
Yeah, I
Here,
think
or
I
just to
mentioned
me,
that.
I can't remember.
Yeah, I can't remember if we talked about it, but yeah, I'm dead set on the body farm for
Okay.
sure. Yeah. Yeah, we did talk about that a few episodes ago. I just
Yeah, I
remembered
was
now.
like, this is all sounding very
Sounds
familiar.
familiar. Sorry, guys. All right, so this one's from 5 years ago, and it's by Read, Write, Laugh. Anyone else have crazy shit happen to them in the Edinburgh Vaults is the title. So this happened years ago, October or November 2011, when I was living in London and working as a study abroad advisor for American college students. It's been on my mind a lot recently. Every semester at the program I worked at, there's an optional trip to Scotland that starts and ends with a night in Edinburgh, and there's a tour of the Highlands in between. A couple of the students wanted to do the walking tour of the haunted vaults. Haunted vaults. I use the quotation marks because that was how I felt at the time. Like, sure, haunted, yeah, right. I told the students when to meet outside of the hostel if they wanted to join and was surprised when nearly every single one of them came down. It was around 30 or 40 altogether. Yeah. Most of the tour was interesting because of the history, but I thought the ghost stories and haunted aspect of it were pretty gimmicky as the tour guide took us through 3 of the underground vaults. But the students were having fun, and I was just glad they weren't getting too drunk at the hostel and embarrassing me, so I was happy. Yeah. This guide started talking about this entity that lives in the 3rd vault. I don't know why they quoted this, but no one really knows what this thing looks like. There are lots of reported ghost sightings, but the entity is different. Only that there are several stories of people leaving the vault and finding scratches on their bodies. 2 Canadian tourists apparently left the vaults covered in scratches, and there are a handful of other stories. And then one creepy story the guide told was that a woman took her younger daughter on the tour, and when the flashlight went out in the 3rd vault, the mother realized the daughter had moved all the way across the room, and the daughter had said someone with 3 fingers grabbed her hand and walked her there. When I was there with the students and other tourists, the vault was super cold and the guide's flashlight went out. It was spooky because that's a spooky-ass setting, but again, I thought it was sort of a cheesy tourist trap. We finished the tour and I went back to my room to Skype with my stepdad, a history professor, about all the cool things I'd seen. After our call, I went to change into my PJs, and as I took my pants off, I noticed 3 long, perfectly straight scratches that basically wrapped from just above my knee up my thigh toward my butt. They looked like cat or kitten scratches. I hadn't felt a single damn thing when I was on that tour. It scared the shit out of me, naturally. I called my best friend in London and made her get on Skype to see them, and then I went down to where the students were hanging out and asked a couple of the girls I'd become closer to come look in the bathroom. I felt like I was going crazy. A couple of them saw the scratches and were like, nope, 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 bye, bitch, I am out of here. A little bit later, one of the male students came up to me and was like, hey, me too. He had 3 scratches behind one of his ears. So the TLDR, yes, those underground vaults in Edinburgh are really haunted.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
That's a funny one, though.
I know, right? Okay, so the last one is by Connor Snow. I don't have the title. This is from 5 years ago. And the story is from 5 years ago, so 10 years ago.
My God.
He says, okay, so 5 years ago, I went on a paranormal investigation into the vaults that aren't normally opened. They're open once or twice a year for certain events like this one, which was for Halloween, I believe. Anyway, it started at midnight and finished at around 4 a.m. There was maybe 35 people in total, and we were all split into groups, and each group went into a different vault with their paranormal investigator. There was one vault that had a Ouija board set up in it, and they spelled Ouija like W-E-E-G-I-E. Yeah, rest their heart. So the Ouija board set up in it that our group went into first. I refused to take part, call me paranoid, but was happy to watch. The whole thing was pretty creepy, but wasn't particularly buying it as real, and was convinced the glass was just moving through the power of suggestion or something similar. But as soon as they stopped and it was time for our group to move out into the next vault, and as we were all leaving, I was the last one to leave the room, the glass actually slides off the table at full force and smashes to dust off the side of the wall. Saw it with my very own eyes. A few people thought I had done it, but I wasn't even close enough to accidentally have pushed it around or anything. Anyway, the next part will stay with me forever. We're in the next vault, and we are surrounded by EMP detectors. 2 of them are in a teddy bear, 2 of their forms, as there's apparently a spirit/ghost of a little girl in this vault. So we're standing around the room in a circle, and our paranormal investigators trying to communicate with ghost spirits. Eventually, a man calls out a small whelp and claimed something pinched him in the arse. Then, one by one, a few more guys were claiming their butts were getting pinched. So the paranormal investigator by this point is getting all sorts of excited and starts asking if it could maybe try and pinch one of the females' bums, or better yet, if they could try and push somebody. I swear on my grand's life, but what happened next was that I felt two hands push me from behind very hard, to the point I was literally standing in the middle of the circle, everyone now staring at me, flashlights on me, asking what happened, and before I could even get a word out, one of the EMP bears that was right behind me against the stone wall was flashing like crazy, that some folks noted straight away. Right? Obviously, nobody was behind me when this happened. We were all standing in a circle, arms width apart, and nothing behind us, all but concrete stone walls. One of the most memorable, unexplained experiences of my life that I'll never forget. Other things happened as well, not just me, but other people in different groups.
Golly.
Isn't that crazy?
Yeah.
Like, that's some shit.
I wonder if the key is not buying into it right away.
See, that's what I think, because all these people didn't buy into it. So that's how I know Kevin's going to get his shit fucked.
Yeah, he's not going to want to buy into it because he's too scared.
Exactly. Maybe I should tell him, like, hey, maybe we'll experience something at that castle, because we're going to do the vaults before we do the castle. Never mind.
Maybe it'll follow you there.
He's going to be a target for sure.
Oh, yeah, 100%.
He's going to absolutely be a target.
Oh, my
But
God.
yeah, that was the Edinburgh Vaults.
That's cool. You're going to have fun.
I hope so. If there is an option to do like a midnight to 4 a.m. investigation, I'm fucking here for it.
Oh, my God.
Fucking here for it.
We have opposite bedtimes, I think.
Well, I do work night shift.
It's true.
So when Taylor Swift sings Midnights Become My Afternoon, I'm like, yeah, I relate to that.
Not me.
Not because I'm
like-
depressed, but, just because shift.
Yeah. Oh, thank you for sharing. I
Yeah.
can't wait. You have to share pictures of your trip
I
to our
will.
Instagram.
Yeah. We'll do a little update
Yeah.
and I'll
Like
post
a-
pictures while I'm there.
like a
And
mini-sode.
let you guys know. Yeah.
Yeah, that'll be really cool.
Mhm.
Well, we're traveling a little bit. Okay, get on your train. Okay, I think it's like, well, actually, don't they have to fly?
I was about to say, can they take a train to
I don't
Ireland?
think so. I think
They
you have
could
to
probably
fly.
get on a ferry.
Get on a flight, a short
get
one.
on a flight, get on a ferry, get on a boat.
We're going from Scotland to Ireland, folks. And we are going to, okay, it is spelled Leap, L-E-A-P, but it is pronounced Lep, L-E-P, Lep
Okay.
Castle. And forgive me ahead of time, there are some Irish words, Irish names. If I mispronounce, forgive me. Much respect. I don't know.
We're Texans and
What can I say?
we're like 49th in education in the United States.
My God. Oh, my God. Is Mississippi after us? Are they 50?
I bet they're 50.
I feel like Mississippi was always
Mississippi's got to be 50.
gotta be.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mississippi. Oh my God. I'm so sorry if you're a listener from Mississippi. We love you. There's some ghost
We love
stories
you.
there. I'll do one in Mississippi next week.
For penance.
Just in honor. Oh God. I'm so sorry. Okay. We are going to dive into the chilling history of one of Ireland's most haunted locations. See, I like this because it doesn't claim to be the most haunted place in
Yeah.
Ireland. It is one of
One
the
of
most
them.
haunted places.
Yeah.
Lep Castle, a fortress drenched in blood, betrayal, and restless spirits.
I love
This-
blood and betrayal.
I know, it's like reputation. This castle has earned its reputation as a paranormal hotspot, from the violent feuds of warring clans to the eerie encounters of modern-day visitors. Lep Castle holds a dark past that refuses to be forgotten. What's so funny is I'm reading my notes and I'm reading this narrative and it's spelled leap. And
Yeah.
if
It
a leap,
fucks with your brain, I bet.
if a leap slips out, I'm so sorry. Or take a shot if you're drinking.
Take a shot if she says leap. That's
Leap,
a
leap,
great
leap, leap,
drinking
leap.
game. I should have brought alcohol.
So, okay, settle in because we're going to go on a journey through violent history and ghostly legends and firsthand accounts of the hauntings that continue to plague Lep Castle to this day. All right, so Lep Castle is perched in County, this is the first one, Offaly, O-F-F-A-L-Y, Offaly,
Awfully.
Ireland.
Okay.
Lep Castle dates back to the 13th or perhaps even the late 12th century. I read somewhere it was 1250.
Okay.
The exact date...
Pretty old.
Oh, it's fucking old.
It's old as hell.
And the exact date of the construction remains unclear because it's so fucking old. But one thing is certain, the castle was built for war, survival, and ultimately death. So it was just like built for trauma.
Yeah.
It was originally erected by the O'Bannon clan. The castle was first called, and here we go, it's an Irish word, but I looked into the pronunciation. It's spelled L-E with an asterisk, I-M, and it's supposed to be Lame, So UI, my God, Bonin, Bhanain. So Lame E Bonin.
Okay.
Okay.
That sounds Irish.
Or Leap of the O'Bannons. And that I'm pretty sure it's Leap of the O'Bannons, okay? Because we'll get there.
Okay.
Legend states that 2 O'Bannon brothers were vying for leadership, as men do.
As men do.
And in a deadly test of fate, they leaped from a rocky outcrop where the castle was to be built, and then the one who survived would be deemed the rightful chieftain.
That is one way to assert your dominance.
Okay,
Not the way I would choose.
Absolutely not. Not the way a woman would choose.
Not the way a woman would choose. What would a woman do?
Probably talk it out and maybe make a pact or a deal and be like, you do this, I do this. So we share the responsibilities.
But nothing with death as a potential result of competition.
It's like when they used to, they would drown the witches, and if they drowned, they were human, right?
Yeah, they were not a witch.
Yeah, but if they
floated, they were a witch.
Like, you dumb bitches. That's men for you.
Yeah.
So, okay, again, because this was so long ago, no one really knows if it's fact or folklore.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but the castle was built on bloodshed from the very beginning. That's just the lore.
Yeah.
Eventually, the powerful O'Carroll clan seized Leap Castle so we jump about 300 years.
Okay.
Ushering in a new era of violence, because of course we did.
Of course.
Honestly, these clans and stuff, if you've ever gotten into like Irish history, Scottish history, those clans, golly,
I've gotten into some Scottish stuff after watching Outlander. And because, it's a historical fiction. So she did painstaking research on actual history and historical events and clans and stuff. So that was a hyperfixation for a little while. But
I get it.
It's
and
fascinating.
Then the Irish with the Vikings and all. Golly.
Yeah.
What a great history. Okay, so the O'Carrolls were notorious for their brutality, waging war against rival clans and even within their own family. They seemed dysfunctional.
Yeah.
This treachery led to one of the most infamous murders in Leap Castle history, one that would forever stain its walls with the echoes of the past. The O'Carrolls were known for their cunning, ruthlessness, and willingness. I
like willingness.
To do whatever it took to maintain power. They engaged in prolonged battles with neighboring clans, often resorting to deception and treachery. One of their tactics involved inviting rival clans to feasts at Leap Castle, only to poison their guests or slaughter them while they dined.
Who would fall for that shit?
Wasn't there a Game of Thrones episode like that?
Yeah. Did they not watch Game of Thrones?
I guess not. Maybe they didn't have HBO.
They canceled their subscription.
I guess, couldn't afford it.
Yeah.
Many of the spirits said to haunt the castle today are believed to be those of these betrayed visitors.
Yeah, I haunt that shit too. Yeah.
Their souls never finding peace after their untimely demise.
Terrible. Sucks.
I'd be mad. I'm like, just let me eat. Let me eat. Let me drink. Let me
I would definitely be somebody that was seduced by food to my death.
100%.
Like, you're gonna give me a platter of potatoes and meat.
Yeah. Anytime I go to any event, whether it be a shower, a wedding, any sort of big thing, I'm like, what's the food?
Yeah. Beelining to the table with the food.
Are there free drinks?
Mm-hmm.
I'll be there.
Yeah.
They could have got me.
Yeah.
One of the Leap Castle's most well-known hauntings originates from what is now known as the Bloody Chapel. Oh. The story goes that following the death of Mulrooney O'Carroll, a vicious power struggle erupted between his sons over who would inherit leadership. Men, leadership.
I swear to God.
One of these sons, who was a priest, was conducting mass for his family inside the chapel when his own brother stormed in and fatally stabbed him in front of the congregation.
Nobody stabbed him?
No, I guess not.
I'm like, they're just sitting there watching this happen? Like he probably walked up the aisle.
Hey, brother.
With a knife. Nobody was like, I see what's about to go down.
I mean, maybe they weren't expecting it. Maybe it was I don't know. But
that's funny.
The priest collapsed onto the altar, dying instantly as his blood seeped into the stone. So everyone just whipped out their phones and watched it happen.
They're like, let me post this on the gram. I'm going to go on TikTok Live.
Let me tell my neighboring clan.
Yeah.
From that day forward, eerie lights and ghostly figures have been seen in the Bloody Chapel, and visitors frequently report an overwhelming sense of dread upon entering. Some claim to hear whispered prayers in the dead of night, while others have seen the shadowy figure of a priest lingering near the altar. I'll tell you what, something I think my mom has ingrained in me, if it's spooky religious stuff, we don't really fuck with that.
I don't like to fuck. Yeah, that's what I was about to say. I don't want to fuck with spooky religious stuff. That's just
so
a
if I start
category that-
hearing whispered prayers,
No.
I'm fucking
I'm
out of
out.
there.
Yeah, I'm gonna be out. That's gonna be the line that I draw to.
And I don't know why my mom is like that. I don't know why I have.
Yeah,
I'm
I
like,
wonder
oh,
where did that rule come from with her? I want to
I
know the
don't
lore
know.
behind that.
I need to ask her. I'll ask her. I'll
Yeah.
be like, Mom, why don't you fuck with like religious demons?
Yeah, what the fuck happened to you?
I know. I think she was raised Catholic.
Yeah,
So I think there might be some of that, but I'll
Yeah.
have to ask her and I'll report back.
yeah, please
Yeah.
do.
Yeah, we'll do a
Type it
normal
up.
lore. But unfortunately, the horrors of the Bloody Chapel don't end there. During the 17th century, as Oliver Cromwell's force, isn't that a great name? Oliver
That's a
Cromwell.
great name. That's the only name I've recognized to this point.
Yeah. Well, because now we're getting into the 17th century.
Oh,
when,
yes,
like,
that's
now
why.
it's like, okay, because we're
Yeah.
jumping 500 years. Or not 500, 200 from 15. Okay, so Oliver Cromwell's forces ravaged Ireland.
Mhm.
Lep Castle was attacked and partially destroyed.
Mhm.
Some historians believe that a great number of people, possibly monks or other members of the clergy, were massacred within the Bloody Chapel during this time.
That sucks.
Adding to the restlessness spirits that roam the castle's halls. So, like, this place is just riddled with religious ghosts.
Yeah, you know what though? I still want to go.
You know, I am sad that I didn't look this up before we went. I
Right?
didn't think to say, hey, haunted places in Ireland to go. I mean, I
No,
would've
that
been
was
into
the first thing I Googled. I'm like, haunted places London,
I should've.
haunted places UK. That was literally before I looked at where the fuck we were going to stay, before we booked a plane ticket, but we thought we might go. I'm looking up what the haunted places are. Because
I was like, where can I get a Guinness?
where can I get a Guinness? Everywhere?
Everywhere.
I don't think you need to look that up.
Where to get Guinness? Okay, now we're getting on another word that I can't pronounce. It says the Dungeon of Death, or
Okay.
the Oubliette.
Okay.
Oubliette. Oubliette.
I've seen that word in books, but
Okay.
I have not heard it pronounced, so I feel you there.
If the Bloody Chapel wasn't gruesome enough, Lep Castle holds another sinister secret, the Oubliette, a hidden dungeon designed for the cruelest form of execution. This trapdoor chamber located near the chapel was used by the O'Carrolls to dispose of enemies.
Okay.
Victims were dropped down a narrow shaft onto a bed of
That's what she
wooden
said.
spikes,
I'm sorry.
left to suffer and die in agony.
Wait, can you say that part again?
Yeah, because you were making a sex joke.
I made a stupid joke.
No, you're good. It worked, because how many times do you hear the word shaft?
Exactly. I could not make it.
I know. So the victims were dropped down the narrow shaft onto a bed of wooden spikes. So
Shit.
they were still alive, and they were dropped down and just left there to die in agony.
Do we know average, like how long the shaft, like how much momentum did they get?
I mean, okay, so
I'm
it says
curious.
in the early nights, okay, we're getting more relevant time.
Thank God.
Workers renovating Lep Castle discovered the Oubliette, and what they found was horrifying, they said. They unearthed hundreds of human remains, so many that it took 3 cartloads to remove the bones alone. The sheer number of bodies suggested that the O'Carrolls had been using the Oubliette for years,
Yeah.
making Lep Castle a true house of horrors.
Holy fuck.
Hundreds of bodies.
That reminds me of, who's that guy? Was he in Chicago during the like Chicago World's Fair time? He made that. There's a book about him called The Devil in the White City.
Oh my gosh, that's
What's
on
his
my
name?
library.
H.H. Holmes, right?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. That seems like something he would have had in his house.
Interesting.
Because I know he did have a thing where he would, a shaft perhaps, like a chute where he would put bodies in.
Oh my
I
gosh,
think.
it's like theater kids unite. So it's like Sweeney Todd
Yeah, exactly.
back.
Yeah.
Oh my God. Okay, but to this day, visitors report a heavy, oppressive energy surrounding the Oubliette, which no shit.
Yeah.
Some have even claimed to feel unseen hands pushing them, as if the spirits of the forgotten are seeking vengeance. So they don't seem like chill. They seem like, this is what I had to go through.
To like, I'm
I'ma
going to push you
through
down
that
here
too.
now. Oh my God. Can
I
you
know.
tour? Can you go into the Oubliette?
You know, I don't think so. I think
Yeah.
it was
I wonder,
renovated,
is there
and
like
I
a
don't
door
think
to
they
get
let you
down
in
there? Or is it like, there's no door in that place. The only way in is down the shaft.
Yeah,
That's what
yeah.
she said.
I mean, they probably had to be like dropped down in,
Yeah.
and then lifted back up. I mean, how do you
That's
get
crazy.
the bodies out of there?
I know. That's insane. I want to go.
I want to do it. Okay, so among Lep Castle's many spirits, none is more terrifying than the elemental. This entity is described as an inhuman, my God, I have a really hard time with this word. I can't do it.
What is the word?
Malevolent.
Malevolent?
I can't do it.
Malevolent.
Malevolent.
Yeah.
Like in Sleeping Beauty. Malevolent.
Yeah.
Is that her name? Malevolent.
What is her name? Fuck.
No.
Yeah, that's what it's...
Maleficent.
Maleficent. That's what
Jesus.
it is. Yeah, like malevolent.
Okay, but thank you for saying it again because I was literally looking at it. I was like, malevolent. Malevolent.
Words
Jesus.
are hard.
That word specifically.
It really trips you up.
Because it doesn't. Malevolent. Yeah. Oh my God.
I'm clipping this for the TikTok.
Jesus, don't. Okay. I'm fine. I got it. Oh God, sorry. Malevolent. I have to say it like that. Malevolent. Okay. As an inhuman, malevolent force that brings an unbearable sense of evil whenever it manifests.
Wow.
Witnesses have reported a foul stench of sulfur and decay, along with a grotesque, shadowy figure lurking in the darkness. That would probably be my out. I mean, I know we talk about religious stuff, but like this is getting a lot.
Yeah, that's a lot.
The origins of the elemental are unclear, though some speculate it was conjured by ancient druids or later awakened by the castle's dark past. Others believe
I bet the latter.
Yeah, probably. I mean, they're like, man, so much scary shit has happened here.
Yeah.
Others believe that when Mildred Darby, which I love the name Mildred.
It's growing on me.
I love the name Mildred.
I think we're going to see more Mildreds in the next decade.
It's
I
such a
just have a
pretty name.
feeling.
It's such a pretty name.
I like Darby as a last name.
Darby's cute.
It's so posh.
Yeah. Okay. She was a member of the aristocratic family in the 19th century. So she was a member of the castle's aristocratic family.
Okay.
She dabbled in a cult. Okay.
Yeah, she did.
And people say that she may have inadvertently unleashed this entity. Whoopsie daisy, I'm just a girl.
Oops, I'm just a girl. Unleashing
Whatever-
malevolent shit.
No, my name is Mildred and I'm just a girl. But whatever the case, the elemental has left visitors fleeing in terror. Those unfortunate enough to encounter it describe an overwhelming feeling of suffocation, as though they are
Oh,
being smothered by an
that's not
invisible
good.
force.
Yeah, that's where I'd be out. That
So
is scary.
Thanks, Mildred,
Thanks, girl. Really fuck shit up.
with your little dabbling.
Yeah.
You dabbled too close to the sun, my
You
girl.
did- I was about to say the same thing.
You dabbled too close now. We got this fucking crazy thing. Oh my God. Okay, so but even in recent years, so we traveled from what?
1200?
It's all the way to 1900s, and now we're in modern day.
Okay.
So in recent years, travelers and paranormal investigators have continued to experience chilling encounters at Lep Castle. Footsteps echo in empty hallways, doors slam shut on their own, and ghostly apparitions flicker in the candlelight. One visitor claimed to see the ghost of a young girl in a torn, old-fashioned dress, silently watching from the stairwell before vanishing into thin air. I
Was it
bet you that was Mildred.
Yeah. That was my girl, Mildred.
She's like, sorry,
Oopsie.
my bad.
My bad, dog.
Paranormal experts who have investigated Lep Castle often leave with more questions than answers. Some report capturing eerie EVPs of disembodied whispers, while others experience equipment failure, as if the spirits are tampering with their devices.
Yeah.
Sean Ryan, the castle's current owner, has welcomed countless visitors over the years, many whom leave with chilling tales of ghostly encounters. Yet, despite the supernatural occurrences, Ryan has embraced the spirits, believing that they are simply part of Lep Castle's long and storied past.
Yeah. What can you do?
Yeah. So, just overall, Lep Castle is more than just a relic of medieval Ireland. It's a place where the past refuses to rest. With centuries of bloodshed, betrayal, and dark rituals, it's no surprise that spirits still roam its halls. Whether it's the vengeful priest, the victims of the oubliette, or the menacing elemental, Lep Castle remains one of the most haunted locations in the world.
So they say.
The next time you are on the Irish countryside,
Yeah.
go stop by Lep Castle.
Were you, did you go in the general area where this is? Or do you remember? No.
No, let me see how far we were from it. So it's like smack dab in the middle of Ireland. So like east of Galway,
Okay.
west of Dublin. So we kind of did an roundabout thing
Gotcha.
of the island. We didn't go
Yeah.
like straight through.
Yeah.
And that is probably why. But
Yeah.
now
That's super cool.
I want to go back.
I know. I'm sure there's so much more to see.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
But everything is just beautiful and
Yeah.
old, and I loved it.
I
loved
know.
it so much.
I love how we were talking about how much we love old shit. And then when we got to the modern time of your story, we were like, thank God.
Finally, a relevant time.
Relevant time.
Oh
Thank
my
God.
God.
Yeah, we fucking love old shit.
I love old shit and I respect it. I
Mhm.
don't like want to live in it.
Yeah, I wouldn't want to live in that time.
So when I got married, we had obviously I had a bridal shower. And we
Mhm.
played this game where it was like, guess their preferences, right? Like, oh,
Mhm.
does Emily prefer this or does Steven prefer this? And one of them was like furniture, old or new.
Mhm.
And I said new. And like some of my family were surprised because they were like, but you like old stuff and like vintagey. And I was like, you never know what's going to be like possessed if you find it at a thrift store. And then my friend was like, thanks for that. And so now she has a hard time going to thrift stores. I'm like, you just know sometimes.
Yeah. I think you might know.
You'd be like, I like this. I'm going to buy it.
I like this. I'm gonna buy it. I don't catch a vibe because I never catch vibes. But you might be able to catch a vibe because you're a little bit more sensitive to that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I took my friend to a like I guess it was like a flea market in Plano, and we were walking by some stuff, and I go, "Ooh, that's haunted." And my friend was like, "Emily, stop it!" And I was like, "Look at it, look at it." I was like, "Don't touch it." And she was like, "I can't take you to these because you're really freaking me out." And I was like, "Don't touch that thing."
I think they should take you there because
yeah, I could save you.
You could save them from a purchase. I want you to come with me so we can find the haunted shit and collect it.
Grab it.
Yeah. I really want to start collecting more haunted things.
Okay.
But it's hard to do that.
In your new house, you said you had your own office in your new house. Okay.
It's going to be
I'm thinking
full of haunted shit.
Yeah, a little museum.
Full of it. Yeah.
I love this. So to close, do you want to hear my dad's story?
Yes, I was about to ask.
Okay. So my dad is probably like, he and I both are probably the most sensitive to stuff. And I don't know why that is. I think it's just we're more open to it probably or like understanding of it. But my dad he told us this story and like, he doesn't like tell it often, but he had told me once, and I don't really know why he brought it up, but there was a girl in high school. Oh, you know what it was? I started listening to Queen, like probably when I was like 12, 13, I started listening to Queen and got really into Queen. And he was like, oh, wow, this reminds me of this girl I went to school with. And I was like, oh, okay, well, who cares? And then he's like, no. He's like, this girl, like, she was really into Queen when nobody else was. And like, everyone thought she was kind of weird, but I always liked her because I thought she was really pretty and I liked that she was different. And I was like, okay, that's cool, Dad. And he was like,
cool story.
I know. He's like, well, do you want to hear something like really scary that's like really scared me? And I was like, yeah, I do. And so he knew this girl in high school. He had a crush on her, but he didn't tell anybody because she was the weird girl who, like, you know, just like a little different. And we probably wouldn't think they were weird now.
Yeah.
But she was like obsessed with Queen and just seemed probably like more new age than him and the rest of his friends.
Gotcha.
So always thought she was beautiful. But then like once they graduated, lost touch because this was like a really long time ago. They didn't have Facebook and Instagram. So lost touch and didn't really he thought of her fondly, but didn't have a relationship with her.
Yeah.
So he was doing like a cross country trip with his friend, and they were staying at a hotel. And he remembers, he's like, the hotel was like kind of dusty and danky. He's like, well, we were poor kids. And so they just like were sharing the twin bedroom. And he had like this very, what's it called? Like the dream where you're kind of conscious, but you're not. Lucid dreaming?
Yeah.
So he had this like lucid dream where he was in the hotel room, in the bed, and the window flew open. But he couldn't get out of bed. He was just sitting there kind of like watching all this happen. And so like the wind was blowing in. And then he said that the girl who he hadn't seen since high school, so it had been several years, her apparition came through that window and was like just kind of hovering like at the foot of his bed.
What?
And he was like, what the fuck? He's like, I haven't thought of this girl in years.
Yeah.
And he had said, he was like, she had aged, but like I could tell it was her because she still like looked the same, just older, like I was. And he was like, you know, and it's just, she just sat there, floated there above his bed. And then went back out. And then he must have just fallen back asleep because he woke up and he's like, hey, like, he asked his friend, like, did you experience anything last night? His friend was like, no, like, I slept great. Like, okay, let's get back on the road. So anyway, they finish the road trip. They go back home. And then that's when he finds out that this woman had died. She'd gotten hit by a train.
What? A train?
She'd gotten hit by a train. He doesn't know like the whole backstory of if it was intentional, if it was by accident. He doesn't really know. But what he does remember is that the news reports were from the night that he was at that hotel with his friend. And he was like, I don't know what it was. And he's like, but for whatever reason, I felt like my soul was open, hers was leaving. And it was like, I was the one connection that she had to this like earth before she left. And I was like, are you fucking serious? And he's like, yeah. He's like, that moment will stick with me for the rest of my life because I feel like she chose me to like be the last person she made contact with. And he's like, for whatever reason, he's like, not saying like, he's like, I always harbored feelings for her. I don't think she harbored feelings for me.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason, I think I was the only connection she still had before she left. And I was like,
that's crazy. Were they didn't happen to be in the same area, right? Because they were traveling.
no, my dad was traveling.
So they weren't,
that's
it
why
wasn't
he was like, doesn't
but
know,
she
but
had died
the
like
thing that night.
Wow.
She had died that night.
That's insane.
So he was just like, and again, they didn't learn about it until he got back to his hometown where it was like, everyone was talking about it. Like this, local girl hit by a fucking train.
Because who gets hit by a fucking train?
Yeah. And he was like, I told my buddy that I was with, he's like, do you remember that morning I woke up and I asked if you had experienced anything? He's like, I'm going to tell you what happened. So besides that, like he didn't like, I mean, what was he going to say? And who was he going to tell? So he like told my family. And again, I was like in my teens. And so I was like, oh God, but I think about that all the time, especially when I listen to Queen. I'm like,
that's so crazy. I wonder if it's because he was lucid dreaming and he was already kind of like in the astral plane, kind of.
That's what I'm
and she was able, she had a connection to him and she was able to find him like
and
that
he said
way.
She didn't say anything.
Yeah.
She didn't say anything. She was just there. And he was very aware of who she was.
Yeah.
And she was in front of his bed and not his friends. So he was like, oh.
Wow.
But my dad also almost died. Like at one point, he was like electrocuted.
Was that before or after this experience?
No, I'll have to get the timeline for that. But I know that my dad was like, oh yeah, I almost died. I almost electrocuted myself at an outlet I was trying to fix. And I was like, okay. Well, when I say he's a little sensitive to the other side, I think that might be why.
Might have gone over there for a bit. Yeah, I feel like a lot of people with near-death experiences, I don't know how near-death your dad's was, if he was just being...
I don't know either.
Facetious, but I know a lot of people with near-death experiences come back with a renewed, like a sensitivity to paranormal experiences.
Yeah, I've heard that too.
Amazing. There's another podcast I listen to that's just like all about near-death experiences, and it's fascinating. The things people experience. I'll get the name of it because I don't want to. Oh, it's called Our Paranormal Afterlife.
Writing it down.
It's interesting for sure. But yeah, I'm fascinated. Near-death experiences fascinate the hell out of me, especially working. I don't know if it's maybe because like working in the ICU. Yeah. We have so many patients who literally die and we bring them back. They die all the time and we do compressions, we give them meds, we shock them, bring them back. And so they're like clinically dead for a period of time.
Yeah.
Or that's main part of my job doing ECMO is we'll put people on who are receiving CPR, have no pulse, whatever. We'll put them on ECMO and get their blood flowing so their heart can restart and recover, whatnot.
Holy.
So I never ask people. I don't know why after 11 years, I think I maybe have asked one person if they experienced anything. That person said no. But the fact that I've only asked one person out of the probably thousands of patients I've taken care of who, I mean, at least half of those have probably died at some point during their stay. It just shocks me that I've never done it.
You know what? That shows a lot of self-control, self-restraint. I'm proud of you.
So I wouldn't say that. I'd say I don't think to ask them. That's the stupid part. I don't fucking think to do it.
Is it like in bad form to ask that as a healthcare provider?
Some might say that it is because a lot of people wake up and they don't realize that happens to them. So to tell that, but a lot of times I have conversations with patients where I'm like, yeah, bro, you were dead and we brought you back.
Got really close to the camera. I need to get them. Yeah. And I think my mom has one when she was a little girl.
Yeah.
She's told me, but I'll have to I can't remember specifics.
You should collect your family stories and we can just do a whole episode about your family.
Yeah. Who knows? My family, man. Yeah.
That's fantastic. My family has nothing like that.
We're sensitive beings.
That's amazing. I'm so jealous. The amount of meditation I've done to try and be more spiritually open
trying.
It has not been successful thus far.
Oh. We need to meditate to get rid of it.
See, we have two different goals here for sure. We're on two opposite ends of the spectrum. I'm like, I want to see a ghost. I want to see some
And we're
shit.
like, we're tired.
Yeah.
We're
like,
tired.
Please leave us alone.
Please, just, go do to someone else.
Just anyone else, please. Yeah.
But speaking of anyone else, if you have stories
Mm-hmm.
about near-death experiences or some hauntings, we want to hear them. So please
wanna hear
email
them.
us in my haunted era, not pod. Oh, yeah? Damn it.
Yeah.
I always get that wrong. In my haunted era pod at gmail.com.
Mm-hmm.
And follow us on socials.
Follow us on socials. We're on Instagram. We're on the TikTok. Follow us there.
Rate us. We want you to, I know we don't rate women, but rate the podcast.
Yeah. Rate the podcast.
Yeah.
Leave us a review. Let us know what you like, what you don't like.
Yeah.
You can send us an email. We have a new website now that is live. It is www.inmyhauntedera.com. We have our own domain, baby.
Thank you for sharing that.
Yeah.
Yay.
And we're on YouTube now. You can watch us in video form if you aren't doing that already.
The YouTube. We're cute.
We're kind of cute. I put
We're
makeup on
cute.
for you.
I put chapstick on.
I think you're one of those people that looks phenomenal without makeup.
That's
Meanwhile,
very
I
kind
look
of you
like
to
an
say.
albino rat.
Without makeup? I don't think
Yes.
so.
I have you cannot see my eyelashes. They're blonde and I'm
Well, you have-
pasty.
They look really pretty with mascara, and I was noticing
Thank
that
you.
today.
I've been using a lash serum.
Oh my God, they look beautiful. There's a TikTok sound going like around right now where it's like women who go barefaced are statistically more likely to be psychopaths. And I was like, hi, she is me.
Oh, we're learning a lot about you today.
She is me. Yeah, I'm wearing chaps.
I'm wearing chapstick.
Got it right here.
Envy that so much.
Birds, bees.
Birds,
Oh, wait.
bees, baby.
How do I get... You can't say, oh, birds, bees.
Here's my lip
Yeah.
gloss I'm wearing.
It looks nice.
It's Elf.
Elf, baby.
It's like a lip plumping one too, but I don't really need that. I've got plump lips.
I was wondering what you were going to say. I love the Burt's Bees. It's a little minty. There's a little zing to
A
it.
little zing. I like a zing. Yeah, this one tingles a little bit when you put it on.
Oh,
Because of the lip plumping.
but tingle.
Love a tangle. Yeah. So follow us on Instagram, TikTok. We post other pictures and stuff about the episode there if you want to see more. And we would love to hear your stories. So send them our way. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks for listening.
Thanks for listening. And we'll haunt
haunt
you
you
later.